Hello and welcome to Kisa Design. Today we are finally going to assemble the ice blue custom watch that we were working on for the last two videos. At the end you'll be able to see the finished watch for the first time. So stay with me. As you know, our customer requested a watch in a color we have never done before. Ice blue. We've talked about the design inspiration and the close interaction with the customer that led to the watch as we are building it now. Last time we prepared the movement holding ring, the dial and the indexes. We laid out the engraving, filled the indexes with luminous compound and assembled the whole dial. Now it's time for the grand finale at the watchmaker's table. All the parts, the big ones and the super tiny ones are manufactured. Despite having a pretty clear idea of what the watch is going to look like, because of the renderings for example, there is still a certain element of surprise that lies within a final assembly and feels really exciting to me. The components are meticulously crafted separately and they are gorgeous to look at lying side by side in the assembly tray. But in a completed watch, the effect is on another level. It's like making a pizza. Tomato sauce, mozzarella and salami might already taste quite nice when you eat them separately. If you put them on a pizza, however, the different flavors can interact and create a delicious composition of taste. One of the things I'm excited to see is, for example, the orange second hand that will add an interesting accent to the ice blue dial. Alright, let's start with the movement modification that I already talked about last time. The customer wants to have no date on his dial. That's a request we get quite often because some customers prefer the perfect symmetry of the dial to having the additional information of the day of the month. In order not to have a ghost position when operating the crown, I remove the whole date mechanism from the movement. Now you can see it's only two positions. One of them is winding the watch and the other one is setting the time. Yeah, this is the crown tube, a tiny part that we need to fit in the case. We need to press it in. We use some Loctite to ensure that it's 100% water resistant. It has a thread inside and this fits to the thread in the crown. Just a moment. Eye gasket 300 millimeters. The gasket that goes between the case and the sapphire crystal. And it has a very tiny chamfer on one side. It's there just to be able to slide in the glass. The other gasket, 30 millimeter one. Just a very beautiful glass. There is a little trick that I used when I press in the glasses. I use a tiny bit of water. I dip my finger into the glass, then I put it on the gasket and it just makes the gasket and the glass slide in the gasket just a tiny bit easier. Make sure that it's sitting flush. Put it into the press and then we start pressing down. Yeah, just step by step, slowly. Perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. I will continue assembly by putting the dial on the movement. There is a distance ring that I put in between the movement and the dial so that it sits perfectly flush on the movement. For me, it's always a really special moment when I put a dial on a movement, because the dial is actually the part that I've spent, probably most time on, and it gives all the character to the watch. It's just the most prominent part of the watch. A very uplifting feeling. And here comes the movement holding ring. In this watch, the movement holding ring is really special because we have this saying engraved on it. It's got a very deep meaning for its new owner. Time is free, but it's priceless. And well, I couldn't agree more. What is more valuable than having time, right? Now I put the little trays with the hands in front of me. I will just make sure I select an absolutely pristine pair of hands and I clean them properly, and then I can put them in the watch. As we don't have a date complication anymore, as we removed it from the movement, we don't have to worry about setting the time to an exact 12 o'clock when positioning the hour hand. We just have to make sure that the hour hand and the minute hand are correctly aligned to each other. The second hand is rather special because it's the only part of the watch which is not titanium colored or ice blue. It's orange, and it's a fun little accent on the face of the dial, and it will be accompanied by very special handmade Cordura strap, also in orange. But I mean, a strap you can change, but the second hand is something that sticks. The center hole of the second hand is only 0.25 millimeters in diameter, and it needs to be reamed to the correct size to fit on the stem or on the axis of the second hand, or of the wheel where the second hand goes on the movement. So this is a very delicate task now, to ream it to the correct size. And I need to check over and over again and make sure that we reach the correct size. If I make the hole too big, then I need to make a new hand. What we are left to do now is to cut the winding stem to the correct length. That is the winding stem. And we cut this part where the thread is so that we can attach the crown. This is one of the highly specialized tools that we use here in the workshop. The whole purpose of, and the single purpose actually, of this tool is to cut down the winding stems to a predefined length. You can insert the stem here, and then the two discs that are rotating, when I push this lever down, they act like shears. Now comes one of the most favorite parts when I assemble a watch, for me at least. It's putting the rotor into the watch. You know what I really like about seeing this the first time is the combination between the saying time is free but it's priceless with the gold rotor and the Kisa design letters. I think it's really beautiful. I think the strap is a real eye-catcher on this watch. So all the inner organs are actually in the watch now. All we need to do now is to assemble the exoskeleton and put the inner case into it. I just need this protective film to make sure I don't scratch the anodized screw head. The anodized surface of the screws is pretty scratch resistant, but this is a hardened tool, a hardened tip of Torx screwdriver, so I just use this protective film to keep the pristine look of the screws. Let's put on the strap. Last thing to do. So that's it. We have reached the end of a long journey. It all started with an idea of a customer that we turned into a gorgeous timepiece. I'm very happy with how it turned out. What do you think about the final design? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about the customer's reaction. I suppose he is going to be very pleased with the overall appearance of the watch and the personal touches he added to it. I'm going to reward myself with a cup of tea and a cookie now. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and see you in the next one.